Deep in the mist-shrouded peaks of the Philippine mountains, travelers report a strange and sudden disorientation. They attempt to hike out of a valley, only to realize hours later that they have been walking in an endless, impossible circle. This disorientation is the result of a deliberate psychological boundary. The entity guarding this territory manipulates the traveler's perception of the terrain, forcing them to repeat their steps until they are exhausted. The architect of that disorientation is the Tikbalang. Standing 10 feet tall, this bipedal humanoid features the powerful muscular head of a horse, a biological anomaly often called the reverse centaur. Its presence is strictly tied to the ancient, towering Balete trees. The Tikbalang acts as the absolute guardian of these specific groves, treating the massive root systems as its sovereign territory. This makes the creature an apex environmental guardian. It relies on localized psychological tricks to isolate and protect its specific ecosystem from any outside intrusion. Removing the veil of myth reveals a highly specialized anatomical structure, adapted for mountain survival. The creature is built on a harsh physical contrast, a highly muscular, human-like torso with a visible ribcage, supported by incredibly elongated skeletal limbs. Its elongated legs create a unique mechanical profile. Squatting, bony knees rise above its head. The equine head features forward-facing eyes for binocular vision, flared nostrils, and a thick mane. Claw-like fingers grapple branches, while cloven hooves plant firmly in the mountain mud. This configuration, combining the leverage of human-like joints with the explosive power of a horse, allows the creature to dominate both the jungle floor and the canopy above. Documented accounts from the late 19th century provide a glimpse into how the creature handles intruders. A group of Spanish explorers reported a harrowing expedition into the Sierra Madre Mountains. The men were inexplicably trapped in a small, dense clearing. Every attempt to find an exit led them right back to the center, holding them captive for 3 full days. From the canopy above, the explorers observed a dark silhouette moving with impossible speed. They noted the distinct, unsettling clicking of its bony knees as it leapt between the mahogany trees, maintaining a constant surveillance of the clearing. The group only escaped when their local guide instructed them to turn their jackets inside out. This specific action appeared to disrupt the psychological hold of the Tikbalang, instantly revealing the exit path they had been standing on the entire time. These encounters suggest the Tikbalang's primary threat is not immediate violence, but a calculated strategy of psychological exhaustion meant to drive intruders out of the forest. While the creature prefers mental traps, ancient Tagalog records describe the rare instances when evasion fails and direct physical confrontation becomes the only option. One legend tells of a local warrior who engaged a Tikbalang in combat during a violent thunderstorm. Grappling the 10-foot frame, he aimed to pluck 3 golden hairs from its mane, causing the beast to collapse into total submission. This subjugation was allegedly permanent. The village bound the creature and utilized it as a guardian for 2 decades, using its height and horse-headed visage to terrify anyone who attempted to encroach on their land. The legend suggests that despite its overwhelming power, the Tikbalang possesses specific vulnerabilities that human willpower can exploit to turn a monster into an ally. Looking across the Philippine highlands today, we can see the evolution of this creature's role in our history. For millennia, the Tikbalang served as a strictly animistic spirit. It was a cultural mechanism designed to keep people away from sacred, ecologically sensitive groves. Millennia of oral tradition are now intersecting with modern digital field reports. The village trickster of the pre-colonial era is now being filed into cryptobiological databases as a documented anomaly. This transition from tribal campfire stories to digital research frames the Tikbalang as a silent watcher, a biological mystery that continues to haunt the high-altitude jungles. The Tikbalang remains relevant because it represents the untamed heart of the natural world. It is a biological puzzle that uses our own perception against us, remaining just out of reach of modern human control. For generations, travelers in the Philippine wilderness relied on a simple superstition to find their way home, turning their shirts inside out to confuse the forest spirits. Today, that folklore is being set aside in favor of biological investigation. The central question has shifted from the supernatural to the ecological. How does a 10-foot-tall bipedal entity maintain a breeding population while remaining hidden in a modernizing nation? The answer lies in the sheer scale of the volcanic ranges across Luzon and the Visayas. These regions contain vast, high-altitude vacuums that are almost entirely inaccessible to human expansion, providing the perfect cover for a large, undocumented predator. Recent efforts have moved past blurry sightings, utilizing DNA sequencing and laboratory analysis to examine physical samples recovered from these remote sites. This data suggests that the Tikbalang is currently undergoing a transition in the public record, moving from a mythological trickster to a scientifically cataloged biological reality. This modern investigation reached a turning point on the slopes of Mount Banahaw when a team of Southeast Asian anomaly researchers reported a sustained encounter with a living specimen. The team located the creature near a massive 1,000-year-old Balete tree, where the flora scale matched the proportions of the entity. They described a 10-foot-tall biped with a human-like torso and the head of a horse. Its anatomical layout was particularly distinct. While crouching on a high branch, its skeletal knees were clearly visible rising above its skull. As researchers approached, the creature appeared to blend into the jungle humidity and vanish, leaving behind long, coarse hairs snagged on the bark. Lab results confirmed these hairs did not match any known equine species. This provided the first physical material to move the investigation into a professional laboratory setting. Evidence of the creature's complex behavior surfaced in the 1980s, following a mass sighting by university mountaineers in the Cordillera Range. The team reported being systematically herded toward a ravine, suggesting the creature was utilizing a deliberate defensive strategy to move intruders away from its core territory. To accomplish this, the entity utilized auditory mimicry, precisely replicating the lead scout's whistle to misdirect the group through the rocky terrain. Witnesses noted the creature's immense physical frame navigating the cliffs, reporting the heavy, rhythmic thud of hoofs striking the mountain stone as it moved. The use of deceptive vocalization, combined with coordinated herding tactics, indicates a level of predatory intelligence typically associated with highly territorial apex hunters. In 1995, a local agricultural inspector in Bicol provided a professional account of its kinetic capabilities. The inspector observed the entity standing upright in a coconut grove, its long arms reaching into the high canopy while leaning casually against a tree. Upon being discovered, the creature cleared the area with a single massive leap, accompanied by a high-pitched, mechanical-sounding neigh. This encounter left behind physical track evidence in the soil, a series of massive hoofprints. Measurements of these tracks revealed a consistent 12-foot stride length. The energy required to propel a creature of this mass 12 feet in a single bipedal step points to a biomechanical structure with power far exceeding known terrestrial animals. In April 2026, the investigation utilized autonomous drone technology to survey the lightless voids of the Mindanao jungle. The drone's 4K camera captured a high-contrast flash of the 10-foot entity squatting on a rock, providing a clear view of its human-like torso and those distinct elevated knees. This footage allowed for a detailed look at the creature's physiology, including a horse-like facial structure covered in a layer of matted, grayish fur. More importantly, a mane hair recovered from the site underwent DNA analysis, revealing a unique keratin structure unlike anything currently in the genetic database. This genetic footprint provides a biological anchor for the species, categorizing the Tikbalang as a distinct entity within the Philippine ecosystem. Through the synthesis of measured stride data, recorded auditory mimicry, and unique DNA samples, the Tikbalang has transitioned from a forest phantom into a documented biological reality. While the cities of the Philippines continue to modernize, the ancient volcanic peaks remain a sanctuary for these entities. As long as these massive, bony limbs move through the mountain mist, the wilderness remains under the watch of a very real guardian. Despite the reach of our technology, the Tikbalang remains the master of the Philippine night.